Hi, so in this video we're going to continue our series of exploring solving equations where I slightly increment the difficulty each time. So I'm going to refer back to our initial inverse pairs, so plus and minus, which cancel each other, and multiply and divide, which cancel each other. So in the last video we looked at equations like this, where we had two steps to do, where we removed this minus 1 with a plus 1, so we plus 1 on both sides, and we removed this plus 5 with a minus 5. So we used these inverse operations to turn this into something we knew how to do, and we're going to continue that trend today. So hopefully if you've had a go at the worksheet, you should be a bit more comfortable with these and how to solve these. So again, we're going to increment the difficulty a little bit by just moving on a little bit more. So let's consider an equation like so. Let's consider my notes here. So it is 8x minus 1 over 3 equals 5. So let's go about how we would solve this equation. So it can be a bit intimidating to look at initially, but again, I refer back to my initial statement of we just want to turn it into something we know how to do. So what we do is we times both sides by 3 to get rid of this divide by 3 denominator. So the idea is that by cancelling out this denominator here, we can now turn this into something we know how to do. So by multiplying by 3 and dividing by 3, these cancel. So I'm left with 8x minus 1 on this side, and on this side I have 5 times 3 equaling 15. So now this is something we know how to do, so let's add 1 on both sides and solve it like we know how to do. So adding 1 on both sides, I get 8x on this side, and I get 16 on this side. And then we have 8 times x on this side, so we want to reverse that by using its inverse, which is dividing by 8. So let's divide by 8 on both sides. These are going to cancel, and on this side I will get x. And on this side I'll have 16 divided by 8, which of course is 2. So if we look back now, this 2 will actually solve our initial equation of 8x minus 1 over 3 equaling 5. So let's check that. So x being 2, so 8 times 2 is 16, minus 1 is 15, so 15 on the top of this fraction, divided by 3 equals 5, as we wanted. So yes, this does indeed solve the equation. We're going to have a go at one more of these, and potentially 2, depending on how many I can fit on the page, because they do obviously take up more and more space the further we go. So let's have a go at this one. So 7x minus 1 over 2 equals 11. So let's try this. So actually I believe it's plus 1 here, sorry, my bad. So 7x plus 1 over 2 equals 11. So let's have a go. So same principle as before. We want to turn this into something we know how to do. So let's times both sides by 2 to get rid of this denominator and turn this into what we know how to do. So timesing by 2, dividing by 2 is going to cancel, and this is going to give us 7x plus 1 on this side. And it's going to be times by 2 on this side also. My apologies. So 11 times 2 on this side being 22. So now again, we know how to solve this. So we minus 1 on both sides. So these cancel. And on this side, I get 7x. And that's equal to 22 minus 1, which is 21. And now we solve this exactly like we did with the one-step equation. So x times 7. So we want to reverse that times by 7 by dividing by 7. So let's divide by 7. So on this side, these 2 will cancel, and I will get x is equal to 21 over 7 equaling 3. So x is 3. And let's check this. So it's important to be confident that our answers work. And the beauty of solving equations is you can check your answer by just putting it back in. So we want that 7x plus 1 over 2 is equal to 11. So 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22, divided by 2 is 11. So it does indeed work. Okay, so I really hope this helped. Do I have space for another one? I'll see what I can do. Why not? So let's do 2x plus 2 over 4 equals, let's make it 2 again. Right, so I'm going to times both sides by 4 to get rid of this denominator. So this will be 2x plus 2 equals 2 times 4, which is 8. And then I'm going to minus 2 on both sides. So I get 2x equals 6. And then I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. And I'm going to get that x equals 3 once again. Right, have a go at the worksheet that's linked and go until you're confident.